Subscribe to LearnCab and hit the bell icon to get notified.
Yes, so very good evening guys. So today we are here to discuss something about Sale of Goods Act, right? So Sale of Goods Act 1930, we are starting with this provisions today. Two provisions that we discussed today is one, ascertainment of price. This concept, I guess many of you may keep it for option, but this is really an important concept. Ascertainment of price. Ascertainment means calculation or the price at which the sale transaction can be done. So calculation of price, or we can say price at which a sale transaction can be executed. Okay, we say ascertainment of price is price at which a sale transaction can be executed. See, there are three options. Okay, whenever you want to purchase some goods, there are three options based on which a price can be decided. First and the most common option is market price. We usually pay for a product at market price, that is the common price which is going on in the local markets for that particular product, right? The other option is mutual agreement. The other option talks about mutual agreement. This is the mutual agreement between the buyer and the seller. Sometimes or most of the times we negotiate, right? We negotiate on the price. The person says this can be given for 500 rupees per unit. We say no, if you want to give it for 400 rupees. You negotiate, and then the price at which the transaction is finalized, that is called as price of mutual agreement. This is other option which we do in the market. And the third and the most uncommon option, which you may not be aware, is price fixed by valuer. Price fixed by a valuer. Valuers, they'll just evaluate the transaction, they'll finalize a price, and at that price the transaction is executed. This valuer is appointed by both buyer and seller. Okay, buyer and seller will mutually decide and they will appoint a valuer who shall evaluate the transaction. Okay, jaise now there are 4 sub conditions here. I'll explain you one by one. First condition, Mr. A is seller, Mr. B is buyer, and they have both appointed Mr. C, who is the valuer. Okay, now A is selling 2 cars to B. Okay, 2 cars to B. So now they decide to fix price by valuer. Now Mr. C says he will evaluate the price and give a fixed price on say he'll give the fixed price on 10th of October. So till then the delivery will not be given. On 10th October the price shall be fixed. When the price is fixed, Mr. B will make the payment of price to Mr. A. Okay, Mr. B will make the payment of price to Mr. A. When the payment is clear, then Mr. B will make the delivery. Means the car will be delivered. Okay, this is the first situation. I repeat, Mr. A is the seller, Mr. B is the buyer. They both mutually appointed Mr. C, who is the valuer. Now the buyer is purchasing 2 cars from the seller. They decided to fix the price by appointing a valuer. Valuer promised to fix the price on 10th of October. So on 10th of October, when the price is fixed, payment shall be done first and then it will be followed by delivery. Okay, then it will be followed by delivery. Second situation, same situation, we'll just continue. In this situation, The cars same, this is entirely same. Mr. A is the seller, Mr. B is the buyer, Mr. C is the valuer. He promised to valuate on 10th of October. But say for example, on 10th of October, valuer denies to valuate the transaction. Valuer, Mr. C, denies to valuate the transaction. Then what will happen? Then the entire transaction will stand cancelled. What will happen is the entire transaction will be cancelled. The transaction will be over. Now you will say, why they cannot do it with the market price? That is another way of doing. First, they have decided to do it by valuer. So as per that term, this contract will be discharged. Okay. Now then that will be as per mutual agreement or as per market price. That will depend upon the parties. But as per this contract, this will be discharged because they had decided to do it by valuer and valuer denied to valuate the transaction. Okay. Now there is another third situation. What happened is, Mr. A is seller, Mr. B is buyer. They are purchasing same two cars transaction. Mr. B asked Mr. A to deliver one car because there was some emergency. Because it was emergency, one car was delivered. Okay. Valuation will be done on 10th of October. Right. Valuation will be done on 10th of October. One car is delivered, other car ka delivery is pending. 10th of October, valuer, that is Mr. C, he valuates the transaction. Then price will be paid first by B to A, and then it will be followed by delivery of second car from A to B. This talks about second car. Understood what happened here? Here, before the valuation was done, one part of the goods were delivered due to some emergency condition. So later on, when the valuation is performed, payment for both the goods will be given and then the delivery of the second car will be handed over. Okay. And last, that's the fourth situation. Same this thing continues, that is Mr. B has demanded delivery of one car. One car has been delivered. Now on 10th, Mr. C, who has to valuate the transaction on 10th, denies to valuate. He says, I will not valuate or I cannot valuate. He denied to valuate. What will happen here? Here, the transaction for second car will be cancelled. Transaction for second car will be cancelled. But because the first car is already delivered and it is put to use, we cannot cancel the transaction. Mr. A will not take back the used goods. So the payment for the first car, what happens is payment for the first car will be done at market price. What price? Will be done at market price. Did you understand what happened here? Here in the last two situations, part delivery of the goods was done. But in the first situation, the valuer valued the transaction, payment was done and the other part was released. But in the fourth situation, the second car transaction was cancelled because the valuer did not valuate the transaction. And the payment for the first car was done at market price. Okay. This concept is a bit tricky concept. And you know, the same car example which I usually give was asked in the form of case study in the exam. The entirely same question was asked in the form of case study. Moving on to the next topic for the day, that is auction sale. Yes, first you tell me, what do you know about this topic? Are you aware about auction sale? You all must be knowing about this thing. You must have at least watched IPL auction. What is auction? What do you think is auction? Auction this is another way, that is sale of goods by way of bids. Okay, means we will just present the goods in front of the potential bidders. Okay, we'll keep the goods in front of them, they will bid. The person who gives us the highest bid, okay, the person who gives us the highest bids, the sale will be final. Means suppose I am selling some antique painting, I have some antique painting here with me, and you guys are bidders. Okay, you will bid for this painting. Now suppose this is not my painting, this is somebody else's painting whom I am selling. Okay, I am basically conducting the bids. So I will be called as what? I will be called as auctioneer. I will be called as auctioneer. I will not do this process freely. I will take professional fees. What I will do? I will take professional fees. Now, if I am the auctioneer, I ask you to bid. Okay, there is this product, this painting in front of you, and I am asking you to bid. I say please bid. So, you will not randomly start with any price. I have to give you a base price to start with, right? So, that base price is called as reserve price, or we can call it as setup price. This is the price at which normally the auction begins. Okay, this is the price at which normally auction begins. Like the person bidding can continue with further bids. Okay, the person bidding here can continue with the further bids. Now the person with the highest bids will win. Sale will be final on the fall of third hammer. That is basically this instrument which we call it as hammer. This is the hammer. When it is banged for the third time and nobody else bids, then the sale will be final. If there is a last bid which is 5 lakhs, I say 5 lakhs 1, 5 lakh 2, 5 lakh 3. Till the fall of third hammer, if nobody else is bidding, then this sale will be final. Okay. Now here, seller cannot bid at the auction sale. Seller cannot bid at the auction. Obviously, seller cannot bid and he shall not bid also, na? Common sense. If I am selling the goods, why would I bid to buy? That's senseless. So, seller will never bid at the auction. And also, if there are multiple goods at the auction, then separate contracts shall be prepared. Separate contracts for separate goods. Even if there is one buyer, there will be multiple contracts for multiple goods. There will be not like one contract and all the goods are sold to one person. So, in one contract, we cover all the terms and conditions. No. That's not the right way to do. Okay. And we say here puffers to damping and knockout agreements are prohibited. These are not allowed. Now by that, first thing is, what do you mean by puffer? Puffer is a representative of the seller who bids in the auction. Okay, puffer is a representative of the seller who will bid at the auction with an intention to artificially rise the prices. Like now, say for example, I am seller's representative, I am the auctioneer. We have placed one person amongst yourself, and as you guys bid, that person will also bid in between, so that the prices are rising. You say 1000, somebody else say 2000, he says 3000. So the next bid automatically goes to 4000, the price have been raised. You can see the puffer ka role is this much only. He'll just bid amongst the bidders with an intention of artificially rising prices. But he has to be very careful. His bid cannot be last. If his bid is last, he will have to purchase the goods. Means ultimately the seller and his representatives are only purchasing the goods, which is no sense. Right? Second is damping. Damping is a way or process where the bidder is restricted from bidding by showing artificial defects in the goods. As in case of damping, say I am selling some diamonds or something, I am selling a solitaire and you guys are bidding. Now one of you is bidding too high. I am happy definitely, but my competitor may not be happy. He is also present at the auction. He comes near you and he tells you, you are bidding so high, means maybe you are very fond of diamonds. But just for your information, I am also in the same business. So I know by the look of the goods that it is not an original diamond. It is just a piece of glass which is polished. Now if somebody tells you these things, will you continue to bid? Who will continue to bid? No. I'll be scared that my lakhs of rupees will go vain. So I'll not bid. So here by this act, by this damping, here bidder is restricted in bidding by showing artificial defects in the goods. This defect should not be real. Okay. And third and the last we say is knockout agreement. Knockout agreement is the reverse psychology of puffers. In knockout agreement, here the buyers will come with mutual alignment with an intention of reducing the prices. Puffer was an act of increasing the prices and knockout agreement is an act of lowering for the prices. Here, say for example, you are 50 bidders. Okay, you are 50 of the bidders here bidding. So there may be 50 bids for a transaction. There will be 50 bids for goods. What happened is you guys formed a group. You guys formed small groups of 5 individuals in one group. So which comes to 10 groups, right? And you guys decided that whoever is bidding from our group, the other participants from the same group will not bid. Means A, B, C, D and E are 5 participants in a group. If A is bidding, B, C, D, E will not bid for that goods. So what will happen here is where actually I would get 50 bids, I'll just get 10 bids. So the price will drastically drop down. So this is called as knockout agreement. Even this is strictly prohibited. This is not allowed. Okay. So these are the certain rules regarding the auction sale. And auction very much in these days, because all the disputed property, all the loans which are not cleared, then the property are sold usually by way of auction. Okay, fine then. That's all for the day. We'll end the session here. Good day everybody and wish you all a very happy Navratri. Bye.
Subscribe to LearnCap and hit the bell icon to get notified.